Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. Welcome to our Tuesday afternoon Jeff Ed session. Let us know that you are here. Just say hello so I can see who is with me today. Happy 1st of September. And here in South Africa, it is obviously 1st of spring for us, although it is really cold outside. Okay, so it's definitely not spring weather just yet. But I have put on a little bit of flowers just to make sure that I am in the spring mood. And yeah, it's really awesome to sit here with this afternoon. I'm just going to be talking about the importance of rest as well as your quality versus quantity, sorry, and making sure that we are all on board for the September challenge and we are all 100% in line with each other and knowing what's expected for the September challenge. It's a really, really awesome way to get yourself prepared for us here in summer, to set your goals for yourself and to really stick to it and be accountable to your coach, to yourself, to your family, and really everybody's invited to do it. So it's not just for yourself if you're on the one-on-one, if you're a member, if you're just part of the Jeff family, yeah, everything's for you. So cool. Let me know if you are here. I'm going to give it a couple more minutes before I get started and just going over what I'm going to be talking about today. I'm really excited about this challenge, even for myself. Sometimes we all just need that extra little push, and it's the perfect opportunity right now as we start changing over seasons. And that's what I love about us here at Jeff, is that we are constantly looking for new ways to challenge, to excite, and to bring us all together as a Jeff community and family. So yeah. So guys, as I said, it is the 1st of September. It is the beginning of our September challenge. And what we're looking at doing is getting 30 dots in 30 days. Okay, so really important how this fits into what I'm going to be talking about today is making sure that we don't overdo it. Okay, so we're not trying to promote you to go intense every single day. It's only 30 dots. Okay, so if you get your 30 dots in the month, it doesn't have to be every single day. It's still seriously important to take those rest days. So let me talk you through it a little bit. What it is about is that every session that you do or any activity that you do, you earn a dot. Okay, so for instance, if you do your Monday workout and you do your top up after that, that is counted as 1 dot. We really want to encourage you to also do our flow sessions with Kathleen. Really important with the type of exercise that we're doing, whether it's highly impactful or not, it does shorten your muscles, okay? And especially out there, you runners will know, suffering from short glutes. So yoga is a really, really good way to stretch out those muscles, lengthen them, strengthen them, and just stretch out and also flushing out the lactic acid. So it doesn't have to be intense, okay? We're focusing on the consistency of your exercise as opposed to the intensity, okay? Because we don't want you to come to the end of your 30 days either injured or feeling burnt out or fatigued. And I'll talk you through now what actually causes that fatigue. So importantly, you can get up to 2 dots per day and take your full rest day, particularly for the beginners. Some of our more seasoned clients and also, you know, more athletic type of people, they will be able to do more recovery or active exercise, as we call it, on a rest day, whether that be just a light walk or a cycle or a swim. But if you're particularly a beginner, I would really recommend that you do take a full rest day. So you can still earn your dots by doing, as I said, an exercise and doing your flow, doubling up on some of those things, but really importantly to listen to your body. Okay, so don't go all out there, focus on the consistency, and it's really just about encouraging you to do a form of movement every day to make sure, especially if we're stationary, you know, behind desks, etc., we want to be getting up and we want to be moving, even if it's 20 minutes, but yeah, sticking to your plan and following it, and leaning and discussing everything with your coach as well, and inspiring each other. So this goes into basics, as I said, focusing on the quality versus the quantity. So particularly if we are looking at, you know, movement standards, it's really important that you do each of the movements correctly because we really want to activate all the specific muscles in that movement. If we don't do the movement properly, we're not going to progress and we're not going to see any change. So really important, until you are really familiar with a movement standard, make sure you do it nice and slowly, especially if you have any injuries or anything that you're little nigglies that you're discussing with your coach. Make sure that you're going through those movement standards really properly. And we will be also doing a Jeff Ed session on those movement standards, frequently asked movement standard questions. And as we go along and as you become more comfortable with those movements, you can obviously start then focusing on more speed, but definitely in the beginning, focusing on that quality. If you don't focus on the quality, you're not going to progress, as I said. So that's really, really important. And that consistency, as I said, is way more important than just focusing on the intensity of the movements. If we overtrain, which is something now I said tying into this September, if we're really going to do too many sessions, if you're going to be doing a live session and then your one-on-one and a top-up and then going for a run, there are some of you out there, I know particularly even some of my clients, this is definitely going to be talking to you about not overdoing it, okay? Because there are a couple of things that happen to your body. So we all need cortisol. It's part of our stress system. It helps us to cope with stress. But when we start stressing out our body too much, we have an oversecretion of cortisol. And what happens there is it actually causes weight gain, particularly around your midriff, around your stomach area, the area behind your back and your face. It can also elevate your blood pressure. It can cause skin problems like a sudden breakout of pimples or acne. So if any of you are experiencing those kind of things or just feeling like you've basically hit a plateau where you're not seeing a shift in your weight, where you're feeling fatigued, that could really be a sign that you're overdoing it. Okay, so that is why it's important to follow your plan, because it has been laid out with a specific structure for you. Your workload is designed for you. There's going to be some easy days, there's going to be some harder days. And that's why also when you're on the one-on-one program, it's really important to be doing only 2 live sessions per week. We do have, as I said, now the awesome LIIT session. So especially for those of you that are on low impact, you don't need to be stressing your body out by doing a high impact session. Rather do the low impact and chat to your coach about that. And something that also happens if you're overtraining is what we call the diminishing effect. So that is pretty much what causes that plateau in your progress, is because what's happening is because you're overtraining your body, you're not seeing the progress that you normally would have seen with the exercise. So I always advise my clients, if you feel like you've got to that plateau, pull back a little bit. Train less intense for 2 to 3 weeks and see how you'll actually start to make that progress. That's why that rest is so important for your muscles to repair. And also, if you're exercising too hard, your program has also been designed for you according to your workload as well as your meal plan. So if you start skewing either one of those, you're not going to have enough energy. If you're training too much, you might find that you have this really, really bad spike in your appetite. You're going to have a lot more cravings because your body's now needing more sustenance. And obviously, if we've got that wrong, you're not going to reach your goal. So that would be where we're going to sort of more athletic levels where we're eating for performance. But most of us here are actually, eating to get to a specific goal. So it's really important to follow that structure and chat along with your coach to make sure that you are getting in enough sustenance for what you're doing. Okay. Definitely when it comes to exercise, sometimes less is more. So really focus on doing everything to the best of your ability in terms of that quality. There's also what I noticed, even for myself in the past, is that often we use exercise from an emotional perspective. So it's not just about, getting fit and feeling better. It's also about sort of our core value inside of ourselves, something that we might be going through in our life. So as I said in the past, when I went through a divorce, I definitely turned to exercise to kind of keep my mind off it. And that's really good because it's a healthy aspect to do. But we can also overdo it in that sense. So an example would be just really, really trying, to work out too hard because you're frustrated or emotionally you're trying to deal with something. And really want to reach out and say, don't punish your body, don't hurt your body. Okay, your body's really assisting you every day. It's doing an amazing job to keep you alive, and to just not use the exercise in a negative way on your body. Don't let it impact you in a negative way like that. So yeah, I'm not sure if you guys have any questions. I haven't been able to see anything come up on my screen yet. Yeah, and I hope that all of you have done your planners for September already. If you haven't, it's only the 1st. Okay, so you still have an opportunity to get your dot. Remember that you cannot go back. Okay, so if you forget to log it on that day, not necessarily going to be able to go back and claim your dots. You have to do it daily, and yeah, be honest with yourself as well on what you do. But literally any type of activity, you know, even if you do the one-on-one, and then later in the afternoon you feel like just going for a really chilled walk, you can do that. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions. I don't see anything coming up on my screen. I hope I'm seeing it properly. But yeah, I'm not seeing anything this side. Yeah, but maybe Belinda can just type something up there if there is a specific question that anybody has. And yeah, I know for myself, I'm really looking forward to this, because even as a coach, we need to be accountable either to another coach or even to you as our clients, sharing what our plans look like. And remember that your plan is individualized, okay? So for yourself. So please don't compare yourself to somebody else. It's really important that you realize this is your exercise plan. This is what you want to do. If someone else is doing, you know, a little bit more, that's their thing. They might be at a different level of fitness. As long as you know that your workload is properly managed, that's absolutely perfect. And as I said, always discuss everything with your coach ahead of the time. We always say as well, don't work through any pain that you have, okay? Make sure that if you feel pain, you stop. Please also go seek a professional, whether it's, you know, a physio or a chiro if you are experiencing any pain, and rather back off so that you can recover quickly and make sure that you do get back on track as soon as possible. Also, don't take any medications before training. Don't take any anti-inflammatories, that kind of a thing. Definitely afterwards you can, but not before, because you might not feel the pain and you might not stop. So yeah, that's really important. And making sure that you are also staying hydrated as much as possible. Even in the cold weather here for us, it's not easy, but it actually is really drying for the skin as well. So yeah, I haven't seen any questions come up. Is there any there, Belinda? I'm not too sure. If anybody has some questions about the September challenge or just about your training in general, if you want to know if you are on the right track. But we really have simplified it for you. So all you need to do, and we keep on saying this all the time, is about trusting the process. So really focus on following your plan. I always say to my clients, when you in your app, your one-on-one is basically your go-to every day. You go into your one-on-one, you check what you need to be doing. It really simplifies it for you, actually. You don't need to do any of the think work. You just need to act and follow as it's been laid out for you. And it's also okay if you feel particularly fatigued one morning when you wake up and you just feel like, you know what, I'm not feeling this today. That's fine. Don't force yourself. Chat to your coach, you know, arrange to catch it up on a rest day or later on in the week. But it's really important that you make sure that you do chat with your coach. One question, do some people have higher thresholds of training burnout than others? It definitely would depend on your fitness level. Okay, so we always say working on average heart rate. So the same thing as with the quality versus quantity, you know, if you're not working at your sort of ideal heart rate, you might also not see the results that you want to see. So definitely everybody's thresholds are different. Everybody's VO2 max, which is how your body utilizes the oxygen while exercising. Everybody's got different. So and sort of top athletes aren't able to really increase their VO2 max much more than what it is. But obviously for someone that's less fit, you can definitely work on that and work on your breathing. That's why posture is really important when you're exercising, making sure that you're up nice and straight, so that your lungs can actually breathe in as much air as possible to make sure. Okay, so the ideal calorie burn for a top up. Well, basically what we're looking at this stage is anywhere from 300 calories up. So it just depends on the intensity of the JT session that you're doing. I know a lot of times different people's watches read differently, or the setting that you've got on. So I would say, you know, we at least want to see around about 300 to 400 calories, even a little bit higher. It depends on each person's intensity level. A lot of the HIIT sessions are obviously working at your own pace or doing however much you can in the amount of time that you have. So, you know, that might affect how many calories you burn. But I would say we always want to aim anywhere from 300 up to 400. Some people even get to 500, but we definitely don't want to be below the 300 mark. Yeah. Cool, guys. Any other questions coming through? Is it okay to go for a walk on rest days, or should we rest on that day? It's absolutely fine to go for a walk, but again, it needs to be a really relaxed kind of stroll, nothing fast, just something that allows you to flush out the lactic acid and just to get the blood flowing in your system. So it's 100% fine. But if you are feeling fatigued, rather don't force yourself. Take a full rest day. As I said, you've got 30 days to get those dots. So I'm sure in the 30 days, you'll definitely be able to achieve that, and no more than 30 dots. Okay, there's going to be no prizes for anybody who has more than 30 dots. So I think it's a really lovely time for people that maybe are overtraining to really focus on or what they are doing quality-wise as well. Would you recommend a pre-workout supplement? So I'm sure as most of you know at Jeff, we don't advocate supplements. Okay, we really want you to get back to just the basics of clean, healthy eating. And through that clean, healthy eating, it'll assist your body to do what it needs to do and to give you the energy. So no pre-workout supplements, drink your water, obviously anything else that you might take, like your vitamins in terms of vitamin C and vitamin B. Vitamin D's, also omegas, those types of sort of natural vitamins. But supplements, yeah, there's no proven fact really that some supplements will make a difference. We also get a lot of amino acids from eggs and from other, food that we eat. So we really can, if we have a balanced diet, we don't actually need to take anything extra, which you are getting if you're following our meal plan. Anything else, guys? I'm here. Take advantage of the time to ask all your questions, to make sure that you are feeling like you are really going to own this September. Okay, no doubt in your mind, put your goals up there, whether it's something visual. I think it's always great to have a visual goal for yourself. Mine in particular is I've had an awesome bikini made. I saw it in a magazine and I was like, this is going to be my December bikini. So I had it made, and for me, that's my visual thing to keep me going every day. So yeah, think about what something visual is with you. It's really, really good to have that goal setting and that visual thing in your mind that you want to work towards for yourself. Is LIIT a good option during shin splint recovery? Well, here I would really recommend that you get your doctor to clear you first. Okay. Yeah, we're not really qualified to treat or diagnose any injury. So if your doctor gives you the clearance, then it should be fine. Obviously, we also need to see what those movements are in the LIIT session. Some of the movements might aggravate, some of it might help with rehabilitation, but I would definitely say clear that up with your doctor first. Luckily, actually all of our sessions that you'll be able to find in the LIIT schedule have been recorded, so you can even go through them and see what the movement standards are, and perhaps even if you have time, chat to your doctor about them and see if they're happy with those movements before you do anything. But you definitely don't want to aggravate and take more time out of your training. Anything else, guys? Is it better to push through an iffy workout and hope for a longer term gain, or rather call it halfway through and hope for a better day tomorrow? I always believe we live to fight another day. Okay. One way to find out if you are fatigued is normally if you feel like you're working really hard, but your heart rate's not going up. That's a sign of fatigue. Okay. So, whether you choose to push through or not is really up to you. But obviously, if you're feeling sick, definitely stop if you're feeling any symptoms of being sick. But it's actually really okay to stop. It's no point stressing yourself out and actually feeling defeated by the workout. Exercise is meant to be there to relieve stress. It's not meant to stress you out. So listen to your body, decide what it is that you want to do. But if you're fatigued, definitely live to fight another day. How do you work out your ideal heart rate? Okay, so there's lots of ways that we can do this. There's ways where they can test it of sort of working at your maximum pace and establishing it like that. But just as an easy, quick way for you at home, you just take your age minus 220, and that's going to give you your max heart rate. So for mine, hope I'm not giving away my age, mine's round about 180. So when you're doing a workout, you always want to be working at roughly about 80% of that. If it's your first, if you're sort of a beginner, 60% is fine. But if you've been doing exercise for quite a while and you really want to give yourself a good push, then make sure that you're working at least 80%. If you've got no underlying heart conditions or anything like that, it's 100% fine if your heart rate does hit its maximum. But obviously you just don't want to be sitting at your maximum for the duration of the entire exercise because that might be stressing your heart out a bit. But yeah, just fluctuating. And that's why our exercises, even the live ones, have that recovery time just to get your heart rate down again and then to spike it up again, also to be ideal to get you fit. Run versus walk. I've always been a far lower calorie burn during a run versus a slightly longer run, which is preferable. So here again, it's really up to what your training goal is. So, if you're just looking for a calorie burn, one thing that's really great about running is that you can get an effective workout in half an hour. So it can really help to manage your weight and to burn those calories. But again, that's entirely up to you. I mean, normally if we go longer distances, it's because we're training for something. But anywhere from 5 to 10 to 15 kilometers, that's even a bit high, is fine for maintaining your weight in terms of the calorie burn. When we start going higher than that, we start actually going to more performance-based. So that will depend on what your goal is. But if you're just looking to maintain your weight, going for a short half an hour run or even just doing our guided 20-minute runs is definitely sufficient to keep your base level fitness and also to help you burn those calories. And it just depends, obviously if you have a lower heart rate for a longer time, you're going to be doing more fat burning, whereas if you are having a short intense, that's going to be more cardio based. Is it normal to have pain under your foot while working out with Jeff? No. So no pain. Obviously, we always have, there is a bit of, it's hard when you exercise, but definitely you shouldn't be feeling physical pain, any pain in your joints or in your muscles if you've pulled anything. So, you might just want to go and check and see if your shoes that you're wearing are correctly fitted. It could be that. You might have a little bit of plantar fasciitis that you need to have checked out. So if it persists, I would say, go and see a podiatrist. Sometimes you might find that there's one part of your foot that just needs an insole for support, but definitely it's not normal. Okay, pain of that kind is not normal. So please do stop. Any reason why some people have flu-like symptoms after a workout? Okay, so flu-like meaning body aches and pains. So we do get something called exercise-induced nausea, and that nausea can happen while you're actually exercising or for a short while afterwards. And that's normally when the blood rushes away from your stomach and goes to your skin to try and cool your skin and to support the other organs. I also know that with exercise, it can cause your nose to run, particularly if it's cold. So it's just, working around the sort of the mucous membranes. So sometimes the runny nose is absolutely normal, but having a flu-like symptoms, so that would be more like body aches and fever. That definitely shouldn't happen to you after exercise. It could be, as I said, if you're feeling nauseous or slight runny nose, etc., that could just be from the exertion if you're not used to that type of exercise or working at that level. But a flu-like symptom is not generally experienced afterwards, and maybe you should just check to see if you are feeling okay. In terms of calories in and out, what would be the optimal calorie burn for weight loss? Also more than 300 calories. Yeah, so each of your meal plans are obviously worked out individually for you according to your dietary requirements to get to your goal. So if we look at sort of everything in a day, how much your body burns in terms of your activity level, your metabolic rate, etc., we sort of focus on a sort of a general calorie burn anywhere from 300 up. That will take into account, to balance out with your meal plan. So again, it's very case specific. So, if you feel that you're overly hungry, you might be eating too little. If you feel that you're not getting the results, then we need to have a look at the meal plan to see if your daily activity, and a lot of us on the watch can also see what our daily calorie burn is. So obviously we have the active calories when we're doing the actual workout, but you can also see what your daily calorie burn is. And you can chat to your coach about that and say, look, this is my daily calorie burn. Is it in line with my meal plan? Am I eating too much? Am I eating too little? That kind of a thing. So you can definitely discuss that with your coach. Yeah, cool, guys. It's been almost 24 minutes and it's been an awesome time with you. I hope if there's any more questions, please fire them away. Will it be 300 normal or active? Okay, so as I said, the active calories is basically for what you've done for that specific exercise, and then you can also let it run and it'll tell you what your daily calorie burn was. So that's a good way to check if you're in line with your nutrition, because it's really not recommended to eat too little. That's not also going to support your metabolism, and it's not going to be good for your overall energy and health either. I'm really excited to start. Well, I've already got my first start today, so I need to log it as well. If one gets sick, can one still exercise? So preferably not. If you just have like sort of a mild runny nose, we always say the rule of thumb is anything head up should be okay to do light exercise. Obviously not fever, but if it's just a slight runny nose, little bit of nasal congestion, that's fine. When it's neck down, so if it's anything like sore throat, chest, that sort of thing, definitely not. Okay. But again, just listen to your body. If it's just a mild little sniffle, it might be a little bit of allergy related, etc. But if you feel the symptoms getting worse, or if you feel, shortness of breath, anything like that, you definitely need to stop. But yeah, again, chat to your coach and make sure. On the one-on-one rest day, is an hour run okay? So yeah, here's where we're going to start having to look at your entire weekly plan and what you're doing. I would say, depending on your fitness levels, where you are at, and if you are taking any additional rest days, is also really important. So we want to recommend at least 2 rest days per week. So that means, you're exercising five days a week. So it's not ideal because you do need that rest. I wouldn't recommend it. I would rather say go for a nice stroll. But again, it depends on your fitness level. So I know, most athletes don't need as much recovery time, but if we're sort of new to exercise, etc., it's really, really beneficial to take that rest. And as I said, also just checking with your coach, but rule of thumb would be rather take the rest day. What would you recommend to use the calorie count and activities? So we actually have a link that we can share with you on the different types of fitness devices that are available. This would really depend on your budget. It would depend on what you want to use the watch for. Obviously, you get some really top-end watches that give you a lot of detail, and that would depend on how much detail you want. And then as you go down, you obviously get watches that will still give you the calorie burn, but they might not give you as much detail in terms of your recovery time that you need, etc. They monitor sleep, that type of thing. Some watches will tell you just the hours, others will actually give you an in-depth look at that. So it's really up to you what suits your pocket, and also what you want to get out of the watch. What is the average calorie burn for a workout with Jeff? Mine is usually quite low compared to others. Guys, this is something that we really want you to encourage to do, is to not compare yourself to anybody else. Not in terms of your workouts, not in terms of how your results are, not in terms of even your meals that you make. Okay, so this is your unique journey. As I said, we want to look at 300. That's the kind of benchmark for ourselves. So if you do find that after a workout your calories are still low, just do something extra until you get to those 300. Okay, particularly in the beginning, if you're starting out, it sometimes is a little bit more difficult because you might not be pushing yourself as hard. But just, do a couple more star jumps, some of those wonderful mountain climbers, something just to keep yourself going until you hit that 300 calorie mark. But really don't compare yourself to anyone else's calorie burn, because I even know myself, mine seems lower to other people. And that's okay. As long as you're feeling good and you feel like you're getting the most out of your workout, that's actually what's important. Okay. Cool, guys. Any more questions before we leave you? I hope that you guys have found the session informative. It's always about keeping everything simple. Don't overthink it. As I said, make sure that your workouts are stress-free, not making you feel stressed out. Be kind to your body and really discuss everything with your coach, making sure that you're in line. And as I said, if you are one of those that is overtraining, please make sure that you pull back. You're going to see better results in the long term. You're going to feel better. And you're just going to develop a better relationship between your exercise and your eating, and just feeling more balanced. Okay. So definitely make sure, if you're one of those that feels like you've hit a plateau, discuss it with your coach, see what's going on. Openness and transparency is always important. Don't sneak off for a run. Tell your coach everything. Okay. But thanks, guys. It's been absolutely amazing. Follow your plan, trust your process. Leave comments here. If there's anything else you'd like to chat with me about, please send me a message in my inbox on my coach profile, and I'd love to get back to you and to hear from you. And let's smash the September. Okay, there's lots of prizes up for grabs. There's weekly prizes of anyone that can stand to win a year's membership on the one-on-one. There's also awesome prizes at the end of the month. And all you have to do is just keep on moving and being active. And it's such an awesome way, such an easy way to win some awesome prizes. Us coaches are even in it as well. So also in it to win it. Not from an intense perspective, but from a consistent perspective daily, making sure that I'm doing a little bit of movement, even if it's with your kids. Okay, guys, have an awesome Tuesday afternoon. Here's to our September.